Okay. And then you choose BI3 sebab BI3 ada 3 missing value kan. So you masukkan dalam ni. And then you just click OK. Okay, so you akan dapat ni, nampak ni dia punya result variables. So there is no missing value. So once I run again the screening. Okay, analyze descriptive frequencies. Okay, so I'm going to remove BI3 sebab kita dah buat yang baru. So kita akan masukkan yang baru. And then I'm just going to go and akan reducekan kat dia punya ni. I don't want the chart. Okay, and then I'm just click OK. Okay, nampak tak kotak ni?
Nampak.
Kan dah tak ada kan?
Kosong.
Dah kosong. So what happens is that once you do that, there will be a new column. So I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to share the other screen first. Later on kita akan revisit the output so that you are aware of the changes. So once I did that, what happened is that you can see here on my data set, there is another column. Nampak ada satu kolom baru kan?
Nampak.
Okay, so at this point of time, you should be aware of the changes that you made to your data. That is why I don't want you to actually tamper with the original data. So therefore, we will no longer be using BI3, tapi kita akan guna BI3_1. This is the one that has been replaced, ataupun the one that replaced the BI3 which have a missing value. So sekarang semua ada value. Okay, so that is the first thing first. This is the data screening. The second thing is that sometimes some of the questionnaires or some of the items that you actually adapt or adopt from the previous questionnaire or from the journals, they have some question which need to be reverse coded. Yang perlu diterbalikkan. Contoh kalau respon 5 sepatutnya 1, respon 4 sepatutnya 2. So to do that, I'm not going to show you, but I'm going to teach you how. Okay, you just go to transform. Okay, can you see the recode here?
Yes.
Nampak tak? Okay, so there are two. Recode into same variables and recode into different variables. So if you recode into the same variable, so you akan dapati perubahan akan dibuat pada kolom yang you ubah. Tapi kalau you recode into different variables, so you akan dapat pada kolom yang baru. So now I'm going to show you. Contoh saya akan rekodekan BI2. Okay. So I'm going to recode into different variables. Alright. So BI2. Okay. So I need to actually name it. Okay. Name that one. Okay. So the label. So saya akan letak BI2 X. Okay. BI2 X. Okay. But I need to define the value. So the old value and the new value. So like I mentioned, reverse coding maknanya terbalikkan dia. So 1 akan menjadi 5. Okay. 2 akan menjadi 4. 3 akan kekal 3 sebab dia center point untuk 5 point Likert scale. And then 4 akan menjadi 2. Dan 5 akan menjadi 1. And then I click continue. And then I'm just going to click OK. So nanti akan keluar BI2X. Nampak tak?
Nampak.
Okay. And then you can see here. Ini 4 menjadi 2. 5 menjadi 1. Dia terbalikkan. Okay, got that?
Faham.
Okay, so I'm going to clear this because I'm not going to use this. So that is on the data screening itself. Now we go into the data transformation. So kalau you tengok dekat sini, contohnya SN, kita ada 3 kan? Okay, so actually it represent only one variable which is subjective norm. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually transform into one variable. Jadi contohnya kalau macam variable A, awak ada 4 soalan. Jadi awak akan transform untuk mewakili satu variable sahaja. Okay, so how to do that is that you just go to transform, compute variable. Okay, saya ulang lagi sekali. Transform, compute variable. Okay, so the first one is attitude. So I'm going to type here, attitude. Okay, how to work on the numeric expression. You nampak tak function group kat tepi ni? Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you choose statistical. Okay, kalau you pergi tempat lain, dia keluar lain lah. So you pergi statistical and you double click the mean. Bukan minimum, mean. Okay, and the numeric expression akan keluar syntax dia. Okay, to work you kena buangkan tanda soal dan juga koma. So you masukkan double click attitude. Attitude ada 2. And then you just click OK. Once you click OK, satu variable akan diwujudkan. Okay, so let me do for the others. Okay, so compute variable. So if you want to do for the other variable, you tak payah dah ni. You cuma tu ubah target dia. Okay, so yang ini adalah subjective norm. Okay, itu ubah nama dia. Dalam ni you keluarkan item dia tapi jangan buang kurungan dia. Subjective norm ada 3, asingkan dia dengan tanda koma. And then you tak payah buat yang lain dah, just click OK. So akan tengok ada satu kolom baru, subjective norm. So untuk variable yang ketiga, okay, kita ada behavioral intention. Okay. So saya akan kosongkan subjective norm dan masukkan behavioral intention 1, behavioral intention 2, dan ingat kita dah ubah tadi yang 3 kan? Okay, so kita akan masukkan yang baru iaitu bi3_1. Okay, and then just click OK. And now you can see we have 3 variables. Okay guys, do you understand this?
Kiranya doktor yang attitude 1, attitude 2 tu dia dikomputekan menjadi mean untuk attitude ni.
Ya, ya.
Faham.
Faham
Hmm.
Okay, macam contoh awak ada variable apa? Bagi contoh satu variable awak.
Apa ease of use?
Each of you ada berapa soalan?
6.
6 soalan. Jadi 6 soalan tu akan dikombine jadi satu.
Satu, okey, faham.
Clear
Tapi doktor macam saya perasan doktor buat attitude 1, attitude 2 tau. Tapi macam saya dekat SPSS ni, saya masukkan ayat based on question kat Google Form tu. Boleh ke kena codingkan juga variable ni?
Kalau awak codingkan variable lebih mudah lah, pendek lah. Sebab kan dekat variable view tu, kalau awak nampak dekat variable view ni kan ada label. Di sini awak masukkan soalan.
Okey, faham.
Dapat
Dapat.
Okey, kejap. Bagi masa saya sekejap 2 minit. Hold on
Okey.
Okay guys, sorry. Okay, did you guys get the idea sekarang ni? Macam mana nak buat tu? Dapat
Dapat.
Okay. Okay, now the next one, once kita dah compute all the variables, okay. So this will be the variable itself. But remember, during the analysis, we will use interchangeably between the variables and the items. Okay, now let us go into the analysis. So it's a very quick one. If you don't understand, please don't hesitate to ask me. Dan nanti saya akan sharekan video dengan semua supaya you all boleh tengok macam mana nak conduct all the analysis semua. Nanti saya kena tengok dulu video yang pagi tadi tu. And then I'll go share with you. Alright, now we go to the analysis. So there are 5 analyses that you need to conduct. Remember, we have the frequency analysis. Kita ada descriptive analysis. Kita ada reliability analysis. Kita ada correlation analysis. Dan last sekali ialah multiple regression analysis. Okay, so those are the 5 analyses that you need to perform in terms of reporting. Okay. So how to perform that one? So the first one is the descriptive analysis. So descriptive analysis, there are 2 that we need to perform. The first one is the frequency and the second one is the descriptive mean and standard deviation. For the frequency, normally it's being done for demographic data. Data-data yang dalam bentuk nominal. Nominal. Jadi kalau tak faham tu, kena tengok balik measurement lah. Okay, so basically most of the demographic data are in a nominal scale. Contohnya male and female, contoh pendapatan, contoh CGPA. So basically they have this classification kan, umur dan sebagainya. Okay, so that one is a nominal data. So therefore you cannot do more than just a frequency analysis. So in this case, I have 2. I have age category and gender. So I'm going to perform them. How to perform the frequency analysis? You go to analyze, descriptive, frequencies. Okay. Analyze descriptive frequencies. Okay, so there are 2 only. I'm going to show you age category and gender. Okay. So under the statistic, you can see almost like everything. We have the central tendency, we have the dispersion and distribution. But for this case, we just want to look at the frequency, meaning that we want to look at the percentage of how many male or female, for example, how many in terms of programs, kan? Okay, so I'm just going to tick quartiles. Okay, and then click continue. And we also have charts, okay, like I did mention to you before. The chart in SPSS is not that appealing compared to the chart in Microsoft Excel. So I would urge you or advise you to go, if you want to perform a chart or you want to build a chart, you might as well use Microsoft Excel because you have more options there. Okay, so but here for this demonstration, I'm going to go with a pie chart. And then I'm just going to continue by showing the chart value in terms of frequencies. And then I'm just going to click OK. Okay. It looks as though nothing happened. The one thing that is good about SPSS is that if there is an error, there will be a pop-up box, kind of pop-up dialog box. So as long as there is no pop-up dialog box, meaning that you are okay. So therefore, you may proceed to the next analysis. So I'm not going to change between the output and the data window because it might create confusion. So once I finish all the analysis, we will visit the output window and then we'll see on how to actually explain each of the output that we already produced. So basically, there is no dialog box in terms of error. So therefore, SPSS already execute your command, meaning that you already execute the frequency that you want to actually display. All right. And the second analysis will be on the descriptive, which is the standard deviation and mean. So in this case, I'm going to actually use the variables, to display the mean and standard deviation. How to perform this? Okay, you go to analyze, descriptive, descriptive. Remember, analyze, descriptive, descriptive. Dua kali dua kali descriptive. Analyze, descriptive, descriptive. Okay, so once you have choose that, so choose the variables. The variable is the one that you compute just now. We compute just now. So I have 3 in this data. Okay. And then you can choose what output you want to see on the using the option radio button. Okay, you boleh klik kat situ, you akan tengok sini macam-macam ada, semua ada dispersion, ada distribution, ada display order, semua ada. So for this case, I'm going to just go with mean and standard deviation. These are the 2 things that need to be reported. But if you are interested to look at more, you nak tengok variance, range, you nak tengok kurtosis, skewness, you can do that as well. But this part only report 2 things, mean and standard deviation. So I'm going to stay with the one that we need to report. And then you just click OK. Okay. And then you just click OK. Remember what I said, as long as there is no pop-up error dialog box, so meaning that it's already being executed. Sudah pun dianalisa dan result pun dah keluar. Jadi tidak ada kesalahan. Ya, faham Boleh?
Boleh.
Okay, now we go to the third analysis. This is the only analysis that might be a little bit different to what you have learned during your MGT 555 because Excel cannot perform reliability analysis. So reliability analysis, if you want to perform it, you have to use SPSS or higher version. Okay, so how to perform the third analysis, which is the reliability analysis? So we use analyze, scale. Can you see reliability analysis here?
Nampak.
Okay, so analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Ingat analyze, scale, reliability analysis. So you click reliability analysis. So for reliability analysis, you need to actually conduct using item, not the variable. Variable kat bawah ni kan. Okay, so kita akan gunakan item. So the first one will be attitude. So I'm going to put in attitude 1 and attitude 2, which represents the attitude. The model is alpha, which is the Chromba alpha. We also have others, especially for non-parametric. Okay, so I'm going to label. Okay, so this is attitude. Okay, in the statistic, you just highlight item and scale if item deleted. Again, so you masukkan item, berapa soalan yang ada contohnya. Okay, you labelkan dia, mengikut variable dia. You pergi statistik, you highlightkan descriptive for item and scale if item deleted. Clear? Alright.
Yeah.
And then you just click continue. And then click OK. There's no error kan? Tak ada dialog box kan?
Tak ada.
Maknanya OK. Yeah. So you continue with the other variable. So if you have 4 variables, so you kena buat 4 kali lah. So you analyze, scale, reliability. Okay, so you remove the old one. Okay, one thing that is good about SPSS, it will hold to your last command. Dia akan memegang arahan yang terakhir itu. Sehinggalah kita buat modifikasi pada arahan. And then you remove, you masukkan subjective norm. 3. Okay, namakan dia. Okay. Statistik tak payah sebab arahan terakhir dah dipegang. And then you just click OK. So no pop-up box, meaning that is okay. And then you proceed with the third one. Okay, scale, reliability. So you remove. Be careful of what you did, okay? So BI1, BI2. But for BI3, we need to take the new one because kita dah replace the missing value. Okay, so this one is behavioral. intention. Then just click OK. So basically all the output are okay, as long as there is no error dialog box. So that the third analysis. Clear until now? Boleh buat?
InsyaAllah.
Boleh ya. Okay, now we go to the fourth analysis, which is the correlation analysis. For correlation analysis, kita akan gunakan Pearson correlation ataupun kita panggil nama penuh dia Pearson product moment correlation. Okay, so this is to actually look into the association between the variables in the study. So for this one, we will not be using item, but we will be using the variables. Okay, so what you do is that you go to analyze, correlate, bivariate. Okay, you go to analyze, correlate, bivariate. Okay. Once you get that, remember I said that we will be using the variables. Okay, so you just choose the variables that you transformed just now, put it into the variable box. Okay. The default correlation coefficient is Pearson. That is good enough. And then the test significant will be two-tail, and then flex significant correlation is the default. Okay, but you also have other options if you have to look at the mean and standard deviation and so on. Because sometimes people do this as well during reporting. But it's okay. If you don't want to do it, just look at the correlation and then you just click OK. So it's done. Okay, it's done. And now we go to the last analysis, which is the multiple regression analysis, looking at the relationship between the variables. So this might be a little bit complicated compared to the four analysis that we conduct just now. So you need to actually memorize a few things. Let us go and look into how we perform the multiple regression. So you go to analyze, regression, linear. Okay, you go to analyze, choose regression, linear. Okay, so there will be a pop-up box here, a dialog. Okay, so this is for linear regression. So during this stage, you need to identify your dependent and independent variables. So in this case, I have behavioral intention as my dependent variable, as well as attitude and subjective norm for the independent variables. So now I'm going to put in the dependent variables into the dependent variable box and the independent variable into the independent variables box. Okay. So once you have chose this, okay, you have identified which is the dependent and independent. Now we go to the first radio button, which is statistics. So you click on statistics, you can see there are lots of things here. Okay, there are lots of things. So basically the default will be something like this. You only have the estimate and model fit, but you don't have other reading. So in this case, I'm going to show you on how to look at the multi-collinearity. Okay, meaning that we want to have a glance of whether our data is normal or not. So I'm going to tick a collinearity diagnostic and be sure to tick case-wise diagnostic. Okay, be sure to tick case-wise diagnostic. The default will be 3 standard deviation. Tu keluk tu ya. 3 standard deviation. And then you just continue. Okay, for the plot, okay, this is something yang I need you to memorize. Okay, so it will be something like this in your first, if you first conduct multiple regression, it will look like this, empty. Okay, so ZP red, can you see it?
Okay, nampak Z period.
ZP red, DX. X, yeah? Z receipt, which is the residuals, is on the y-axis, paksi Y. Okay, so be sure to take histogram and normal probability plot. And then just click continue. And we also have other analysis here. We have the predicted value, residual, distance, influence, statistic, and so on. Okay, but we don't want to make you confused. Just go with the basic one. The first is statistic. We will be looking into collinearity diagnostic as well as case-wise diagnostic. And then we'll be looking into plots, okay, using the histogram and normal probability plot. And continue, and then just click OK. Okay, if you notice that during the analysis, okay, you can hardly see an error dialog box, right? So that will be the first indicator whether you are doing it correctly or not. Because if you did it correctly, there shouldn't be any box that pop up. But if you have done some mistakes, so SPSS will actually notify you what happens. Okay, what happens, why it is so. To demonstrate the what we call mistake, let me show you something. So analyze, okay, regression, linear, okay, for example, and then I misplace the plotting, okay, and then I cannot click continue. Can you see this? I cannot click continue. Okay, until I put in, then the continue button will be activated for you. Okay, or if I don't have the dependent variables, so I cannot click OK. I cannot click OK. So as simple as that, meaning that it will actually safeguard against any error. So once you put in, then it will be activated. So that is how you work with SPSS. SPSS will assist you all the way. Meaning that selagi tak ada dialog tu, money is okay. So meaning that we have already conducted the 5 analysis. I repeat myself again. The first one is frequency analysis. So how to do this? Analyze descriptive frequency. Okay, and then choose your item that you want to look at the frequency. The second one is the descriptive analysis, looking at the mean and standard deviation. How to do this? You go to analyze descriptive, dua kali descriptive. And then you choose the variables, and then make sure on the statistic you choose mean and standard deviation only. The third analysis will be the reliability analysis. So how to do this? You go to analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Okay, analyze, scale, reliability analysis. Okay, put in the item, not the variables. Okay, so if you have like one variable with 5 items, so all the 5 items must be included. Okay, so the fourth one is the correlational analysis. You go to analyze, correlate, bivariate. Analyze, correlate, bivariate. And the fifth and the last one is the multiple regression analysis. So you just go to analyze regression linear. Okay, analyze regression linear. Identify your IV, identify your DV, and then put them in, and you can just start analyze. Okay, up to this level, are you confident of doing it yourself?
We try.